Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're essentially doing a follow-up to a showcase I did last week on an experimental vehicle that used wheels, like you see in the background, but on a small block vehicle. Well, this is from the same creator and pushes the concept even further, and through testing is absolutely perfect. So this right behind me is the Stryder Gen 2, where we've got 4 wheels on the ground, we've got thrusters to push us all the way around, as well as a turret to make sure we've got a bit of defense while driving this thing around. We'll come all the way over to here and press F10, find the Stryder. There it is. This thing is 357 small blocks, using the Warfare 2, Sparks of the Future, Decorative Block, Wasteland, and Heavy Industry DLC packs. We've got no other information about it on the Steam Workshop page, so simply give this a thumbs up. My character can bugger off, we'll have a look around the outside, and I'll hop into the seat, we can drive around for a bit, and I'll show you how much of an improvement this is over the previous one. So at the very front, this is what we get. So front and center, what we can see are 2 industrial cockpits to drive this thing around. Surrounding that, we've got a bunch of atmospheric thrusters to help this thing stop, and we can toggle them off if we do want to have a cruise control. Coming off of that, we've got a bunch of cylindrical columns that come across onto some hinges onto these sections at the front, which is some steel blocks, wasteland splice, onto a wheel suspension, onto a wheel sitting on the bottom. And it just spins around like so, it does nothing, it doesn't wander off by itself. It just simply sits there, spinning around, all happy. We'll also move around onto the side because this has got this sun here. This is what we get. So we can clearly see our cylindrical columns coming off our hinges. We've got some barred window blocks on top for some added decoration. Then on the side there, a handy little ladder to get up and above. Make sure we do some repair work if we ever took damage. There is a large atmospheric thruster to help us on our left and right. Another hinge with some armoured panels just from added decoration. Now just fold up and down as we move around. We can see a connector underneath to help refuel this thing up with anything we need. Then towards the back, it's going to be similar setup with our wheels, but we can see behind it some more atmospheric thrusters, a battery to power it, a spare wheel just in case, some more barred window blocks, moving all the way up and above a solar panel for some renewable power. If we look down and go towards the middle of the vehicle, there is a turret to make sure we've got some nice protection. There is a cargo access in case we do want to manually load this up with whatever. And towards the front there, we can see a couple of conveyors going across to our turrets. There's some spotlights, there's our atmospheric thrusters. And we can come down and underneath it, and that's all we get. We can see our warfare batteries and a couple of small ones. There's the bottom of our connector, there's our atmospheric thrusters, there's an oxygen tank. Then towards the back there, below our solar panel, we've got a timer block as well as a couple of sound blocks. So there we go. And they're just coming under the wheels, that is all we can see. Like I said earlier, they just spin around all happy. And that's it for the outside of the Stryder Gen 2. Because now we can get to the fun part and drive this thing around. But first, we do have a few controls to go through. So hopping into this one, we've got absolutely nothing going on. Our screens at the top of our power, hydrant, speed, and gravity. Looking down, there's our artificial horizon. Coming out to this one, which is our main one, these are the only controls we get. So number 1 is going to be to turn off our atmospheric thrusters at the front, which is going to be for our cruise control. So for us to move forwards, then come to a stop, then turn that off, move forwards, we're not going to slow down. Number 2 and 3 is going to be for our spotlights and industrial lights at the front there, on and off. Number 4 is manual control over our autocannon on top. Number 5 and number 6 is going to be for our hinges to manually raise and lower it if we need to, but generally we don't have to touch anything with that. Number 7 is for our batteries to auto recharge. Then 8 and 9 is going to be how he changes to active mode, which it is currently right now, and then back to standby. Pressing number 9 will simply lower the vehicle, the wheels will stop moving, we'll stop wobbling around, and now we're nice and safely parked. We can get out of here and we can do whatever to it. But once we're ready to go, we can press number 8, that lifts up, and now we're ready to go. Yes, in first person view, this is all we can see all the way around us. Third person view, then moving forwards, here we go. So unlike the Omni prototype skimmer, I pretty much just butchered that name, this is extremely smooth when going at high speeds. We do get a little bit of airtime here and there as we go over a little jump, but in general it lands very solidly, lands very safely even, and we can just skim across the surface, unlike the other one that had a tendency just to flip all the way up due to how light it was. But coming to a stop and then moving left, as you can see we've got some nice speed with that. Moving right, there we go with that. Then of course spinning this all the way around is very odd compared to a traditional vehicle. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, especially when you're moving at high speeds and then start to change direction like so. It's very, very odd. It's very handy for having static weapons actually. If you remove the turret on top and say you had a bunch of rocket launchers, you could very easily keep your targets in sight, pummeling them with your rockets just by turning the vehicle all the way around. Yes, as for that, there's not too much else to talk about. It's a great improvement over the other version of this vehicle, with how the wheels have been set up, how the thrusters have been set up. And like I said before, if this gets even bigger, even heavier, it could be even better. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.